Euromaxx highlights in today's show. Modern master, artist Neo Rauch shows us around his latest exhibition. Super snacks, gourmet sausage and organic bread are fast food trends. Cool constructions, Portuguese architect Eduardo Souto de Moura gets the Pritzker Prize. Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Robin Merrill.
Hello and a warm welcome to this Highlights edition. Scottish percussionist Evelyn Glennie has won countless awards, including 2 Grammys, and performed with many of the world's top orchestras. All this despite having seriously impaired hearing. Even though her hearing began deteriorating at the same time as she took up percussion, she never gave up on her dream of becoming a musician. We caught up with her at a recent concert in Heidelberg.
Evelyn Glennie is performing in front of an audience of 1,200 fans at a sold-out concert in Heidelberg. She likes to go on stage without wearing shoes. It helps her feel the sound of the music.
The audience is very much part of that performance, and they sort of put the switch on, as it were, you know, that light switch on, and they create an atmosphere that no matter how hard you try to imagine this in your head, you know, when it's happening, it is a very amazing feeling.
Evelyn Glennie performs more than 100 times a year. When she's not touring, she likes to spend her time at home near Cambridge in England.
I think my heart really is in the countryside, and I very much enjoy being out in the open and having that balance between city life, which is often where my work takes me, but also then returning to a fairly peaceful place.
She has a studio in her home where she rehearses and tries out new sounds. There, she has a collection of over 1,800 instruments from around the world.
Each instrument speaks differently. So you line up 10 marimbas and they will all speak differently. And it's really important for me just to clear my head completely of everything that has gone on in the past and treat this as a new experience.
Evelyn Glennie was born near the city of Aberdeen, Scotland in 1965. She and her 2 brothers grew up on a farm. She began playing piano at the age of 8 and later started on the drums too. But when she was 12, a neurological disorder left her 80% deaf.
I was frustrated with music until suddenly my percussion teacher, from about the age of 12 when I started percussion, he said, "Evelyn, these drums are extremely resonant. I can actually feel them in different parts of my body. Can you?" And he asked this question to me. And I struck a drum and I really started to pay attention. I thought, actually, I can actually feel this, but it's making no sense at this point. So anyway, this was something that we developed. And I then discovered by taking the hearing aids off, I actually heard less through the ear, but more through the body.
At 16, Glennie moved to London to study at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music. After graduation, she began recording her first CDs and performing with major orchestras. She is constantly extending her repertoire and enjoys working with different musicians. She's collaborated, for example, with Sting and with Björk.
There are very strong creative ideas there, and the quality is so high that's really amazing, and you have to try to really rise to that. But again, keeping your identity. It's so important to keep your identity. So important when you're collaborating with anybody, no matter what the situation is. You have to be true to yourself as well.
Evelyn Glennie, a remarkable woman with talent and determination in abundance.
What an inspirational person. It's been dubbed the beauty show for cars, the Concorso d'Eleganza, held on the banks of Lake Como in northern Italy in the elegant surroundings of a grand hotel there. Every year, the Concorso presents some of the most eye-catching and expensive vehicles in the history of motoring. But this year, the organisers added some new attractions as well.
For over 80 years, the Villa d'Este beside Lake Como has played host to an annual automotive extravaganza, the Concorso d'Eleganza. Exclusive highlights from car history for an exclusive audience. This year's event sees an even greater focus than usual on concept cars and prototypes. The event also sees for the first time the world premiere of a very special prototype. BMW's Director of Design, Adrian van Hooijdonk, unveils his latest baby, the 328 Hommage.
A lot will change in the future, but as a designer, it's our job to continue ensuring that cars have an emotional appeal. The role of the car is to show that we can also create nice designs today, and we'll keep on doing so. The Concorso is not just a celebration of the past. It's also a celebration for automotive design, both old and new.
Another first at this year's Concorso d'Eleganza is the appearance of motorbikes. The Pierce 4 is extra slender because the fuel tanks are built into the frame. And the 4-cylinder engine delivering 7 horsepower shows no signs of old age, even after 100 years.
What I find sensational about this vehicle is its authenticity. It's not a replica, it's 100% authentic. Even the tires are originals.
The gas headlamp still needs lighting by hand, with a match. No wonder this rare vehicle triumphs at the motorcycle contest at the Concorso d'Eleganza. The event organizers are hoping that having bikes here will further boost its appeal. In the evening, there's another premiere on the schedule. For the first time ever, rare and expensive cars are going under the hammer at the Concorso d'Eleganza.
Ferrari V12 engine, beautifully presented, no reserves, signori, signori, 125, new bidder on the left, 150 now, 150, 175 now, sir.
If there is something very cheap that I can have it, I can try. For sure, this auction will be very interesting again because we saw, for example, the collection of Bertone that leave at the end 5 or 6 cars, very important, masterpiece of the design.
Car design company Bertone is auctioning off 6 unique vehicles. This legendary Lamborghini Marzal sells for €3 million.
It has incredible detail, fantastic forms. It reminds me why I became a designer in the first place.
The world's leading car designers meet up at the Concorso d'Eleganza on the shores of Lake Como to discuss ideas and perhaps even seek some inspiration for the next icon in automobile history.
Cool cars. German artist Neo Rauch is the leading light of the new Leipzig School of Figurative Painting, and nowadays a new Neo Rauch picture can easily command a six-figure sum. Right now there's a new exhibition of some of his works in the German city of Baden-Baden, including one of his first sculptures. The media-shy artist himself gave us an exclusive preview.
Neo Rauch has managed to remain avant-garde for 20 years. Now a museum in Baden-Baden is hosting a retrospective featuring 40 of his best works. Rauch tends to shy away from the media and says he doesn't want the public to understand every aspect of his paintings. He recently also turned his hand to sculpture. His first work in this genre is now on display in Baden-Baden. The show has prompted him to reflect on his own life.
It's like a reunion with my children. Time heals all wounds, or most of them anyway, and allows you to come to terms with things that were painful 10 years ago. But fate runs its course, and things are what they are. And for whatever reason, they can't be more or less than what they are.
The Frieder Bode Museum in Baden-Baden. Its founder, art collector Frieder Bode, owns 4 oil paintings by Rauch, who's considered the driving force of the new Leipzig school movement. These days, collectors are willing to pay up to 750,000 euros for a Neo Rauch. Frieder Bode acquired this painting in 2009 after seeing it in Rauch's studio.
If it speaks to you.
It was still on the easel, but it was finished. I loved it. There was something mystical about its images, and even though the style was realism, it had a pop art aspect to it. Neo Rauch's paintings always leave something to the imagination. There's not necessarily a reason for it all, or even for the title. It's left to your imagination.
Neo Rauch translates his experiences and dreams onto the canvas. He completed this painting called Interview in 2006. Also part of Frieder Bode's collection, it's a comment on the media circus that so often surrounds him. As an artist, Neo Rauch likes to experiment. His recent work is peopled by figures with more contours and character than those in his early paintings. He also uses color more liberally.
With many painters, the later work doesn't tend to be as good as the early work. But in his case, the quality is identical, and that's the mark of a great painter.
His early work in the 1990s featured boxy figures and was almost completely drained of color. It was oddly timeless, a blend of surrealism and pop art. Neo Rauch works out of this former cotton mill in Leipzig, and always has. In the late 1990s, he was hailed as the best painter in the world by gallery owner Gerd-Harry Lübke, who also represented him. Collectors from all over the world were soon keen to acquire his works. Now he's turned his hand to sculpture.
I had long been telling friends I was going to try sculpture, and then at some point I finally just did it. Yes, I just did it. The idea was there, the figure existed in my mind's eye, and all I had to do was actually make it.
But he says that his sculpture only serves as a sort of commentary on his painting, which is still his overriding passion. And Neo Rauch's creativity is as vibrant as ever.
Fast food is usually taken to mean bland and unhealthy snacks coming out of kitchens run like industrial production lines. But this is changing, certainly here in Germany. Those with discerning palates are also in need of a quick food fix from time to time, but want nutritious snacks which are freshly prepared. The good news is that it's getting much easier to find quality food on the move.
A slice of sourdough bread from the organic bakery. Smeared with butter and sprinkled with fresh chives. All for a tidy €3.50. It's a bestseller at the Suicide Sue snack bar in Berlin. Mass-produced frozen food is out. Today's fast food is healthy, fresh, light, and tasty. It's part of a current fashion for fast, good food. But Hanni Rützler, a trend expert on nutritional matters, saw it coming long ago.
We don't always want to have a guilty conscience, and we want to be able to enjoy with confidence. Fast food seduces us to eat fast without thinking about what we eat. The new concepts are geared toward healthier, lighter solutions, more individual and visually appealing.
In Hamburg, fast food lovers can even indulge in haute cuisine snacks, including currywurst made from bison and grilled sausages made of lamb or duck. The Curry Queen, run by Sascha Bassler and Bianca Habermann, is the first snack bar ever to win an entry in the Gourmets Restaurant Guide. The eating area is more reminiscent of a restaurant than a snack bar.
We work on the basis that if you want to eat something like this, you don't want to sit in a smelly snack bar, staring at white tiled walls. You want to be in nice surroundings.
Back at Suicide Sue in Berlin, the good old sandwich becomes a gastronomic experience.
I wanted something filling. I wanted a real sandwich, but there was nowhere to get one. So I might as well make one myself.
The owner used to work in advertising, so she understands the importance of making things look good.
The aesthetics of food have become important. We're looking more closely at food, and the way it's presented means we can enjoy it more. Careful presentation reflects a whole new attitude. Food is not just something we prepare without thinking about it.
Salads are prepared in front of customers at the Berlin salad bar Eve and Adams. It has a particularly healthy reputation. Owner Jens Rieve saw something similar in New York when he was looking for a salad at lunchtime. His salad bar opened 3 years ago, the first of its kind in Germany.
We have more than 60 different ingredients, so customers can choose a different salad every day. The advantage is that they eat a lot of light things and therefore have a healthy and balanced diet, which isn't heavy in their stomachs. So afterwards, they can carry on working and don't need another break after their lunch break.
All ingredients at Eve & Adams are organic fair trade. That comes at a price, but a survey conducted by Euromaxx found that 78% of Germans are willing to pay more for healthy food.
People are pressed for time, and they want to enjoy the time they do have. So they're seduced by solutions which look good and are fresh and close to nature, and where they know where their food is coming from.
And for dessert, homemade rice pudding perhaps? Or a slice of strawberry cake? Eating healthily no longer means going without.
And I've worked up quite an appetite watching that report. Finally, it's one of the top accolades in the world of architecture, the Pritzker Prize. And this year it goes to Eduardo Souto de Moura. He's only the second Portuguese architect ever to win it, and his work has been praised for its simplicity and for the attention it pays to construction materials. Most of his buildings are in his native Portugal. We caught up with him at his office in Porto.
He may be a star among his colleagues, but he's remained modest to a fault. Portuguese architect Eduardo Souto de Moura. After winning architecture's highest honor, the Pritzker Prize, he said he's won it only because his work is simple and economical. His office in Porto, in northern Portugal, is similarly unpretentious. This is where he has designed over 100 projects, everything from single-family homes to multi-million-euro contracts. For him, architecture isn't just experimenting with models and materials. Above all, it's designing spaces for people to live and work.
I built quite a few private homes at the start, almost exclusively. They call on the full architectural repertoire. Architecture has made history by building houses, and the history of houses is the history of architecture.
This house near Porto is surrounded by a high wall. It's a sound barrier and also offers privacy. The house was completed 2 years ago. Owner Fernando Dias is not surprised that his very own architect won the Pritzker Prize.
Above all, I gained a friend. That's much more important than the prize. Of course, I'm happy that other people think he's a wonderful architect, and not just me.
650 square meters of living space made of concrete, marble, and glass. The building has already become part of Portugal's architectural heritage. The historic harbor of Porto is a favored tourist attraction. But Souto de Moura has made his mark on the modern face of the city. His Borgo Tower, a 20-story office building, cost more than 14 million euros and has become a local landmark. When summer grows sweltering in Lisbon, many residents are drawn to the Atlantic coast nearby. Over a century ago, the city's elite discovered the fishing village of Cascais, which nowadays is a sophisticated tourist destination. This is where Raul Linu built his miniature palaces for aristocrats and the upper classes, directly on the ocean. The architectural gems inspired Souto de Moura's design for a new local museum. The pyramid-shaped towers give the nearly windowless building a monumental touch. Daylight filters into the interior through the tops of the towers. One of the permanent exhibitions features work by Portuguese artist Paula Regu. She also worked closely with the architect during the design phase in 2008 and 2009. The city of Braga in the northeast is Portugal's religious capital, with hundreds of old churches, noble mansions and townhouses, all built of granite. Souto de Moura's new soccer stadium in Braga is carved into the face of a local granite quarry. Built for the European Soccer Championships in 2004, the stadium accommodates 30,000 spectators. It's his best-known work.
We had to excavate millions of tons of rock. When we realized how much it was, we used the rock to make concrete to build the stadium. For me, soccer has always been a form of theater that you watch from on high, like an amphitheater. The steep mountainside seemed perfect for that. But after I'd taken a look at other soccer stadiums and watched a lot of games, I realized that soccer nowadays is mainly a television event.
Televised soccer is big business the world over, so the best spots in the house belong to the television cameras, not the celebrity guests. The former monastery of Santa Maria de Boro is located 25 kilometers northeast of Braga. Abandoned for many years, it fell into disrepair. The cloister today is in ruins. Souto de Moura was commissioned to save as much of the old structure as possible and transform the old monastery into a posada, luxurious state-owned hotels, often situated in historic castles, monasteries, and palaces.
The architect Souto de Moura tried to respect the original structure as much as possible. The work here at the posada took 3 years, and we officially opened as a posada in 1997 with 30 rooms and 2 suites.
The final product, which transformed the half-destroyed monastery into a modern hotel, is a restrained balance of old and new.
The heritage must be preserved, because the past provides us with information that points to the future. And the only way to preserve this heritage is to make use of it.
The Posada do Borro is a masterpiece of modern architecture, a work blending the past and the future.
That's it for this edition. If you'd like to see more reports from Euromaxx, just go to our website at dw-world.de/English/Euromaxx-highlights, and there's also plenty more information there too. For now, though, thanks for watching. Join us again next time. Bye-bye.